What is going on, gamers? Aevatrex here, and let's go ahead and talk about this Archdemon. This is probably the hardest Archdemon that we have come across. A lot of people even thought that he is bugged or whatnot, because essentially we've had this sort of Archdemon before. This is the one that summons the eye catchers, that gives the demon like a Pumpkin Duke buff, and he is immune to things like scatter and stun and things like that, so it's not the easiest to bring down. But essentially my strategy here is to have Golem heal my team, summon the Skull Knight behind them. That way that when the eye catchers are summoned, the eye catchers actually attack the Skull Knight instead of somebody like the Pumpkin Duke or the champion. And then from the rest of the way, Golem of course to keep my heroes alive, Medusa to damage the eye catchers, but also to stun the demon, because it does actually freeze him in place, at least for a little bit. And then the Demogorgon to be able to silence him and the eye catchers, to give me a bit a bit of time to heal up and whatnot. The champion, really the main goal for the champion is to go crazy with the Pumpkin Duke stacks and keep those eye catchers stunned, because champion doesn't have any sort of cooldown, but he does go down there. This is even a double evolved champion, so I don't know how well it would go for you if you don't even have an evolved champion, which, let's be honest, a lot of people probably don't even have an evolved champion, because he's not a very essential hero in a lot of game modes. But with these demons, what it's been doing lately is it's been making people focus on heroes that usually you would not want to focus on, like for instance heroes like Siren, heroes like Death Knight, even Beast Tamer. A lot of people don't really use Beast Tamer unless you're like a really high account and you need them for Guild Wars defense. So champion is probably going to be one of those other champions that you might want to get up, but unlike the other ones, he is not really necessary. As you can see here, he dies and I still can go quite a bit. Now the Pumpkin Duke dies and the Medusa dies, and that pretty much just spells the end for me. That's where, you know, the damage just kind of dies. But at the same time, this lineup, I was able to live a long time, which is nice, because a lot of people die within a few seconds in this demon. The only problem is that with this lineup, I lived a long time, but the damage really just wasn't there. It wasn't like a lot of damage. So I've been seeing different strategies. It looks like people are coming up with solid strategies now, but this is like after 3 or 4 days of people just giving different things a try. So this has been a really rough demon. You want to get in as much damage as you can, at least initially. If you have Valentina, she'll be great to get your Pumpkin Duke going. Have somebody that can keep your heroes up, and just try to get as much damage as you can right away if you can't last a very long time or can't get something solid going, because this demon is probably going to stay here for a while. The way that it's going, we're probably going to have this demon for another week at least. But there you have it. I mean, I lasted a long time and it was only 20 million damage, so it was very disappointing. Now there is another strategy that I tried. Again, there's champion, but this time instead of Golem, I went with Druid, of course for the heal, but also because of the attack buff, and Valentina. The reason for Valentina is that with her, not only is she going to be able to have Pumpkin Duke get stacked easier, but that means that champion is going to go ahead and get off even more procs. So we're going to give that a shot. Same strategy, drop the Skull Knight on the back, although it looks like the eye catchers are kind of summoning from the bottom. He kind of was weird there. Now here's where the big failure in this run comes in. Druid goes down pretty much right away, which absolutely sucked. This pretty much killed my wave. There goes champion. Druid is gone. But the only thing that's keeping everything afloat is that Pumpkin Duke and Valentina had revive crest. Instead of like champion and Druid, they didn't have that. But because Valentina and Pumpkin Duke had revive, they were able to come back up and somehow in some way actually stay alive for a decent amount of time. Now Demogorgon has a lot to do with it because of his blind. They weren't getting hit as often, but as you can see there, after 1 solid minute, it's pretty much going downhill. Everybody's dying. If Druid and champion would have stayed alive just a little bit longer, that would have been really positive, because even though the damage really only lasted for about a minute, take a look at the damage there, almost 30 million. So this one did 50% more damage than the last one, and it only really lasted not even half the time. So I'm gonna try that strategy out again tomorrow when that comes up. Now this is gonna be in my account. Notice that I have some really old champions that I tried yesterday, got completely wiped out. So what I was thinking on this one is I'm gonna use Medusa to stun the boss. Pretty much the same strategy as on the BG account, but the only difference here is that I'm gonna be using Green Fiend. That way, that if the eye catchers are actually able to power up this boss, to buff him up like a pumpkin dude, the Green Fiend is able to take that away. Now there is one thing that I did absolutely wrong, and that is Green Fiend. You want Green Fiend to be able to proc in the direction of those eye catchers, and unfortunately my Green Fiend was not doing that. My Green Fiend was just absolutely in the other direction. So if my Green Fiend was actually focusing on those eye catchers back there, I might have actually lasted a decent amount on this one. So tomorrow I'm gonna be trying this same strategy again, but hopefully I can position Green Fiend to where he can actually proc directionally right at those eye catchers, because without all those buffs, the boss on the boss right now, my pumpkin dude might have stayed alive right there. So that was actually really interesting. Now the damage didn't seem very high, so I might have to play around with that. But yeah, now the heroes just start going down. That was the biggest failure, really. My Green Fiend not being in the direction of where the damage was going. So that was the biggest failure. Now I do have another run here to go. My best damage has been 9 million just because I've been experimenting so much, and obviously it's been a failure. But I'm just gonna keep trying. It looks like this boss is gonna be here for another week or so at this rate. So we're gonna have time to get some stuff going. So here we go, the same strategy again, but the Green Fiend dies before I can use the spell. Now this is one of the drawbacks for playing in the computer. In BlueStacks, for instance, you have to click one thing at a time, whereas on the phone you can click, drop, and then click on the spell almost simultaneously. You can't really do that on BlueStacks. Well, I say BlueStacks because that's what you guys know most people to play in, but I don't actually use BlueStacks. I use Memu. I find Memu to just be way better. But regardless, this demon is just absolutely kicking my butt. But we're gonna keep trying. Tomorrow I'm gonna try some different strategies, and I will show you guys how they go. If you have a good strategy for this demon, let me know in the comment section, and I might just try that one out. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and until later, bye.